Well, ooh, wow, good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today? Ooh, um, wow, how are we all? It is, oh, I've got my curtains closed. It's not the nicest. It's kind of just like bright grey, you know, weather-wise here in Bristol. So I'm just going to give everybody a little moment. Now, I do need to know if you can hear that noise. I might have to turn it off because I've got a little aircon unit thing. It's not posh. It's like a posh fan. Just turn it down, so it might be a bit noisy. Good morning. It was giving me the windswept look. Good morning, Carol. How are you today? Lovely to see you. What's the weather like where you are? Okay, let's have a little look. Let's get some stuff ready. I've got some lovely, really simple, easy jewellery makes for you today. Great for this kind of summer weather. Very versatile jewellery. Hi, Kathy. Oh, hi from East Texas. That's cool. Lovely to see you. How are we all doing today? Let's just have a little look at what's going on here. So I have some nice deals for you this morning. And just checking one last thing. There we go. Bear with me one moment. I'm just checking I've not missed anything. Perfect. Okay. So, here's everybody. Good morning, everyone. So we've got good morning from Rachel from a warm and sunny Barrow. We've got Heather. Good morning, all from a very warm and sunny Liverpool. Chicago. Good morning, Jean from Chicago. And then the sun is shining and a little breeze in Essex. Yeah, it's kind of like Jax. See if I can see if I can get my kid to open the door for me. The windows. Jackson, could you open my curtains, please? Thanks, mate. Oh, how would you describe the weather?
Warm.
Warm. Apparently it's warm. Thanks, mate. So yeah, it's warm in Bristol. It is quite bright. It looks like there's a breeze. He is off to Clevedon today, so he's off out for a little swim in the sea. I'm just putting this here. So, good morning, Camille. Good morning, Laura. I hope you enjoyed your break at the cottage. I did, thank you. It was lovely. It was nice just to stop. What did we do? I went to Tiverton on the Saturday. That was lovely. Had a nice meal and then headed back on the Sunday and then back to normal. But I am heading back up to the cottage tonight. So it's my husband and mine's wedding anniversary on Tuesday. So we're going to have a weekend away. The kids don't want to come. So I'm like, okay. The kids want to stay home. They're old enough now. So Tony and I are going to have a nice Thai meal tomorrow and a nice little kid-free break. So yeah. Okie dokie. So shall we have a little look at what we've got going on today? We've got really simple, easy, fun jewellery to make today. And what I love about this is that I think it's wearable by anybody. It's easy and achievable. It's great if you want to have a little making natter with your friends, introducing somebody to jewellery. This is going to be really great. And so I just love the simplicity of this. And it is one of mine. Now, I've been making jewellery for quite a long time now, probably. Well, I've been married for 19 years on Tuesday. And I started to play about making jewellery just before that. Let's say 19, 20 years. So I have been let's say 19, 20 years. So a long time, but this has always been one of my favorite styles of jewellery to make. Good morning, Anastasia. It's sunny in Linham. Good morning, Mina in sunny Leicester. Well, it's lovely to see you all. And of course, peace and love from Anastasia. So let's have a little look at what we've got. Very simple, very easy jewellery, but we're going to be making our own kits up with this a little bit. So we have got these beautiful hematite paired drops, and they're just gorgeous. And the range of colours that we've got are fantastic. So I'm going to just show you our nice simple style drop necklace. I've done this up in a couple of different variations just to hold that up for you to see. We've got that one there. And then each one we've got with the intention of you being able to make, you will be getting your finding kit in whichever color you go for. We've got gold and silver, and you'll be able to make up a pair of earrings and a necklace, another colorway. Now this is just how I've done the necklace itself, but it focuses. There we go. You could of course do the in the way that I'm going to show you for the earrings and have it as a drop on your necklace, so you don't have to do it. But I love this, and the intention is that it will sit sort of, you know, quite up. I'm not got the right top on for this. Sort of quite high. Come on, I'll work it out. Quite high up in the neckline, you know, sort of. It's designed to sort of sit around about here. Oh, Joanne's in a lovely warm and sunny Coventry. Nice. So I'm just showing a couple of the necklaces for you here. And I tried to mix it up a little bit. I've mixed some. So basically what will be happening with this kit is you'll be, I'm trying to hide myself so it doesn't focus on me. You'll be seeing the, you can choose your colored drops, and then you choose your colored findings. So I tried to sort of change it up a little bit, keep some, you know, maybe not go with what I would always put gold with and what I would always put silver with. So normally I would have put gold with this one, but I thought I'm going to mix it up with a bit of silver, and I think it looks really striking. And then I'm just trying to show you a little variety of them. I think I did 3 in each colorway. I'll show the earrings in a moment. I'll lay them down on the mat. But look at those beads. Are they not just gorgeous, like little drops of magic? And of course, keeping it simple with that classic. We've got a silver version there. So we've got this here. Okay. So, and then we've got the earrings to go with it. And I'm going to just switch over for the earrings for you to see on this camera here, and that'll make life a bit easier. I'm just sorting my lead out. Oh, and you know, I think I said last week, didn't I, that I had mislaid, shall we say, my clamp part for my arm. So I had kind of a setup, which by the way I felt was much better for the light. However, I came home, the little clamp that attaches to the table was just sat on the floor down here. It was like, hey, I was here all along. I was like, of course you were. Okie dokie. So let's just move this in, and let's just get this showing. Okay, I've kind of just let's just pair these up before I focus in on it, and then we can go ahead and see how we can get these lovely items. So I'm just going to pop these, find their pairs. There we go, and just be able to show you these. Well, you as a pair, you are a pair, you are a pair, and obviously these are matched to the obviously matched to the matching necklace. Okay, so let's switch the camera for you to see now. So here we have our pairs of earrings. So you can see that it's been done with the intention of being a set. And I just think it's a really sweet, you know, I'm going to say it, Christmas is going to be starting to creep up on us soon. And I think this is going to be a great little sort of set that you could do as a Secret Santa gift, or you could do it as just like a little cracker gift, you know, if you wanted to. I think because of the hematite, you have a really lovely weight and feel to this jewellery as well. So these have a substantial weight to them. They're not too heavy, don't get me wrong, but you know, you can feel that they're that lovely solid gemstone drop. Do apologize, I am working from home and the dogs are being dogs. Let me just find my pliers ready for this next bit. There we go. So you'll see on here we've done this a little bit different to our standard sort of briolette wrapping. I wanted to, you know, I love briolette wrapping. I love when you've got drops like this, just doing the briolette wrapping. I think it looks gorgeous. One of my go-tos. However, It's not for everybody. It's wire work. Sometimes people struggle with that. And also sometimes you can take away from the simplicity of your beautiful beads. I would also say when you do something like a briolet wrap, and so by briolet wrap, I mean taking a piece of wire, going through and then kind of wrapping it and then doing your loop. It's quite, I think it took me a long time to realize that briolet was actually the name of the wrap, of the cut of the gemstone, as opposed to the wrap, but it's always just been referred to as a briolet wrap. So we had that, and the problem with doing a technique like that is you do hit some hurdles, and that could be that a polished gemstone like this hematite is a highly reflective polished gemstone, and sometimes it can slip and it can give you a bit of grief. So I wanted to do a really simple, easy approach to making these drop earrings using literally a simple eye pin. So we are just using a simple eye pin, a jump ring, and we're just connecting. And again, with the necklace, very simple, an eye pin connection. Now I know this is nice and simple, but I think it's a great finishing touch to that set. I am going to say to you that even though this is simple in its technique, it's still a little tricky because there are a few things you have to factor in. So we'll talk about that in a moment, but for the moment, let's go over to the website and see how we can get our hands on these kits. So let's go on over. Where are we? Find the right button. There we go. Share. Okie dokie. So, as always, we will head on over to totallybeads.co.uk, find our video tutorials, and we're going to see them here in the Hematite Drop Jewellery set. So, there's the video on how we're going to do this, and then the way we're going to do this kit is we're going to basically, because there were so many colour options, there's like 12 colour options, and they're all so cool. I was just like, we just want to let you make your own, basically. So I'm going to go through this part in a moment, but you'll see you've got here all your colour options, your purple, green, your rainbow, your silver, your purple, your mermaid pink, your green gold, your blue, your bronze, your champagne, your coffee. So all of these are going to be done by, you can buy one piece. Instead of 79p, you can get them for 63p. So you get 20% off of those beads. So you can pick out as many as you want, or you can chop and change. Now this kit's obviously designed with the intention of you having 3 drops. But you don't have to make them the same color. You could mix those colors up if you wanted to. So you've got here for these drops, they're 18mm drops, and they're in all these different colorways. Then you can add in your find-in part. So basically you've got the gold, and this is for $1.99, again 20% off, and you will get your chain, your eye pins, your lobster clasp, your jump rings in 2 different sizes, your 6mm and your 5mm, that's your outer diameter, and your earring hook. And you can see here, you know, just a couple of examples of how you can make that set in those different colorways. You do need to obviously add your drops to complete, but you can see, and again, I just chose 3 different colors I thought would be pretty and contrasting. So I chose your kind of sort of traditional complementing bronze tone to go with that green, that gold, sorry, that lovely contrasting pop of blue against that gold, and of course that lovely mermaid shimmer effect. And then again, you've got your silver option, which is going to be exactly the same, $1.99. You get the same content, your chain, your eye pins, your lobster clasp, your jump rings, and your earring hooks. And again, I kept it so you've got your classic silver with silver, but then I also added your lovely sort of that lovely contrasting pink tone, purpley tone. There was one more that has been added, it's just not pictured here, which is that kind of greeny gold color. So again, just to give you an idea of what you can do. Where's the chat gone? Oh, I've lost you. There we go. Oh, hi everyone. Just having a quick look at the messages. So Anastasia's sending lots of peace and love. Oh, Heather likes the colours. The colours are gorgeous. Good morning, Elaine. How are you? And then I mean, the shiny beads. They are shiny beads. Good morning, Sheila. How are you? And so yeah, that is what you're going to get. And so again, in its design simple, but there are little things we do need to factor in. So these are great, I think, for someone who wants to sort of get their dabble a little bit with introduction to jewellery, or even, to be honest with you, even if you're an established jewellery maker, I think we sometimes forget how nice it is to do simple, easy jewellery. For me, I think this is very wearable for anybody of any age. I just think it's very, it's quite, it could be classic if you keep your colours in that sort of similar tone, such as the silver and the gold tones here, but then you can sort of jazz it up a little bit by having those contrasting colors. So I just really love the versatility and design options really with this kit. So remember, of course, that you could also apply this technique for the earrings and actually use this as a drop onto the chain as well as an alternative. So I've obviously done it so that your drop is in the middle of the chain, and it's going to sit quite nicely as that little drop just in your sort of lower part of your neck. But obviously you could just have your chain and have that as a drop on like so. So options, as always. We know I'm an options girl. So let's go about how we're going to approach this. So I'm going to start off by grabbing, so I want to see how many times I can say so. I've got here some of the colorways. Look at these. They're so graceful, aren't I? Just pour them out, pour it out. Move this out of the way because we know my camera can be a little bit temperamental. And look at these amazing. Are these just not beautiful? We'll just take a moment. How gorgeous are these? So you can see here we've got, and obviously I've used some of the colors in the pieces as I've shown you. The silver I've used, but I mean, just look at this, gorgeous. Look at that, the green and the purple. And again, what color would you put this with? I mean, I would be torn whether to put it with the gold or the silver, to be honest with you. And it's very interesting because you've got like your potential of your warm and cool tones as well. So you could team this with your purple, it would give that cooler look. If you add it, with your silver, if you teamed it with your gold, it's just going to warm that up. So gorgeous, gorgeous tones. Look at these. I just look at this gorgeous sort of pinky red tone. Like, it's so reflective, you could see me. Hello. You can see me in these. How cool is that? Not so cool, actually. Just a gorgeous selection here. This lovely kind of bronze tone that we've got here. Coffee color here. Look at that. So rich and gorgeous. Beautiful green. Look at this. It's like a gorgeous metallic-y, emeraldy green, tealy green. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors. So again, so much kind of potential for you here. Have a little look. Have a look at your options. That's got to be mermaid pink. Look at that. It's gorgeous. So, excuse me. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to just show you a few sort of ways that we can do this. So I'm going to show you with the gold because I think it's nice and easy for you to see what is going on. Okay. Check I've got my right pliers. You. I think. Okay. So what you want to do, Rachel says, great for parties and special occasions like Christmas and New Year. Absolutely. But Rachel, can you just imagine, right? I mean, we've got this lovely sunny weather now. For me, if you had something like maybe your silver or even your little pop of color here, and you've gone into the office for the day, you've gone to do your day job, you've got these in, you come out, you want to go to, I don't know, your pub or a cafe and have a coffee or a drink. I'm thinking even with just a classic, simple, summer dress or your jeans and your hair up and a vest top, I still think these are going to cross as well throughout your day to evening look. I think they're a really great crossing style. But yes, certainly jazzing that up for your Christmas parties, your New Year's. It's going to be great. So many options. So I'm just going to kind of take a couple of these and just show you things to consider. So when you look at these, the first thing you want to do is find your pair. Now, obviously, you're going to have your pair because it's going to come however you order it, not in a, I've just mixed, I went through and collected one of each color so that I could show you them in person. But just for clarity, I think I'm going to come out with, I think we're going to go with, this color here. So you've got your pair, okay? So what you then want to do is you want to check the drill holes, and this is important. Now, you know, as you know, try as much as we can. You know, our drill holes are pretty consistent, but every now and again you might have it where one might be slightly lower than the other or something like that. So what, and this is quite key for this design for one reason really. When you're doing this, you want them to look the same. So you want to make sure that those are sort of, you know, pretty equal in that, because the way that this is designed, you can see on for example on this one, that drill hole is a bit higher up, more towards that point. Now this is a slightly different color tone, so the matching one was absolutely fine. So when they come to you, they are going to be you know, fine. But just to be aware, see how that one's just that little tiny bit higher up, so it would just make a difference on if they weren't both that same position. Does that make sense? If I was to do, let's say these were both the same color, I would need to look at that because of the fact that it might be slightly different. So I might make that one the necklace and find the other one that matches that. Now they are all pretty consistent, so I just want to make you aware, just in general, if you want to apply this, just to check it before we start. So we're looking. All right, we've got our two pieces here. This is absolutely fine. I'm going to show you two different ways that I did this, and you see which way works best for you. So the first way, is popping this through, and then I did go a little bit by eye, but I think I kind of went by about 1/2 centimeter of the eye pin coming out. Hold it nice and steady, and then take your chain those pliers. I don't like those ones. I'm being a bit, there we go. So I've got two pairs of chain nose pliers. I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you why I was being dramatic. And you see the difference, just these ones on top are just a bit more chunkier. These ones, and they were the ones I had in my head. I like these ones, they're a little bit finer. So about 1/2 centimeter gap. And then what I want to do, and this is quite important, so even though these are simple in their design, there are a few little things you need to be specific on. So think of the way, when you see this loop here, the pre-made loop, the direction of that cut part and the direction of the loop. So I've got this flat in my hand, so I want it to make a bend to come down, and that is because that bend is coming down. Okay, so I've got this flat. I'm going to go again by about 1/2. It doesn't matter if it's not exact. It's just an ish. We want to be able to put that in and have an equal amount either side. So you can see now that this is in that same direction for that bend. Okay, now that's going to be a little bit too much of the wire at the end to make that loop. It'll just make it a slightly bigger loop. So again, that's probably about 1 centimeter. I'm literally going to cut the smiddiest. It was probably just a couple of millimeters off the end. Okay, and then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I want to roll. I'm just going to kind of what I'm doing is just trying to make sure that these are both facing down. And I want to roll this up into a loop. So I'm going to take my pliers, and towards the end, and just roll. This is a strong tempered kind of head pin, so we just want to be nice and controlled. Roll that. So you notice I'm moving my pliers around, just gently encouraging that into place. Reform that curve if you need to. So it's looking at around about the same size, and you can see if it's slightly off. So if I hold that flat, it's slightly tilted. So I do just want to maybe grab the other pair of pliers, just have both of these facing that same direction. Now they're both nice and flat. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So it's now nice and flat, and both those loops are facing that same direction. And then I'm going to hold it nice, roughly in the center, and just using your hands, I'm just going to pull that up. And hopefully they should be about the same. Sorry if you can hear whuffing. My French bulldog is being a little noisy one today. Okay. So again, this is a bit of a slow stage process as well. It's something to take nice and slowly. And then I'm just going to turn these so they're both facing nice and straight. And then this is kind of the fun part. I'm just going to kind of take my pliers inside that loop and turn. And inside this loop and turn. And then pliers in just below those links and pinch. And that will kind of just pinch it all together. You troublemaker, here she comes. Savannah the Snorer. And then pop my pliers back in just to make sure that that's rounded and as should be. And there you have your first kind of link. Okay. Now if you didn't want that gap to be so tall, you could make them a little shorter, but I prefer to sort of pinch it down a little bit, and I find that that's quite a nice size because it gives that little gap just above. Woof woof, Savannah. Yeah, she's just come in all puffed up and then just gone back out again. So that's number one. Okay, and then you can just, the next one you need to get the same size, so we then need to just do that consistency. So we've got that gap coming in, making sure that that loop is in that right direction. Coming down, taking just literally a couple of, barely even looks like I'm barely cutting it. It's not barely coming through the other side, say millimeter if that. Rolling that up towards that loop there, making sure we've got that angle, making sure these are one in that same direction. So just taking both my pliers and just getting this nice, and so those, both of those are nice and straight. And then repeat. Good morning, Miss Snoozes a lot. She is Miss Snooze a lot, and she's also Miss Gone Off to Wander. She doesn't love me today. Oh, good coffee. My son made me a coffee before he left. And then remembering to make sure that your loops are, like the cut sections are facing away from the drop, centralizing it as best you can and bending it up. And don't worry too much if those, because we can straighten these after. We just want to make sure that when they are straightened that they're together. And then this is important, you check that you've got that same sort of height as the other one. Okay, because we want to make sure that one isn't like longer or really short. It does make a difference, because again, these are very simple in their earring design. So if there is that slight inconsistency, it does show more. Obviously we're wearing earrings in ears, you know, one side to the other. No one's going to notice it so much when they're in your ear. But obviously, if you're selling or gifting, it is something that if you know you're presenting it, you might see. Again, into that loop, and then just giving that little turn. And all I'm doing is just simply pliers in and just kind of turning it towards me. And then I can then pinch it together. Now, when you're doing this, of course, make sure you don't tip it to the side. You want to keep it still. And then there we go. There we are. And there you have your pair of earrings. And then, of course, we're going to be adding in our jump ring. So for this, we're adding in our 6mm jump rings. So I said to you, you get a little selection of 6mm and of 6mm and of 5mm. God, my brain's a little bit broken. Needs more coffee. 6mm and 5mm. So for this one, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a 6mm jump ring, holding it nice and steady. Going to open that with my pliers, like a door. Remember, opening it out and simply popping that on. And of course, this is, again, I know this sounds obvious, but it's something to consider when you've got your finding, your shepherd hook. You want to put that on in the same direction so that you know you're not going to have those cuts at the front. So I'm going to close this, a little wiggle, make sure it's closed nice and properly because you don't want that shepherd hook to come out. So when you hold it like this, the cuts are at the back and it just gives a much smoother look. And that's one. And then we do second. So opening out our jump ring, popping on our drop, popping on our hook, making sure it's in the right direction. And then you have that there. And there you have your earrings ready to go. And you see they're a nice matched length as well. So we have those. So that's that way. And just another way. And again, this is just, everybody does things a little bit differently. So I do like to be able to give options. I'm just going to see if I can find, I'll just do it in a different color. It doesn't matter. She says, I'll take this sort of mermaidy one. Are you a mermaid? Yeah, you look like mermaids. And so with this one, I just want to show you a slightly different way of approaching it. Again, I'm just checking that we are looking nice and balanced. Yep, that's fine. So with this one, what I would do slightly different, just to show you the opposite way of doing it. Not the opposite way, just a slightly different way. And again, however suits you really, is that you can place your eye pin in. And this just helps you guess. I guess this will help you with the sort of gap between the bead and the loops. What you can do is pop it in and have that slight gap and push one side up already. And when you do that, you then need to kind of straighten out that loop so it sits up correctly. And again, you still need to note what side that cut is on. Then you can take your opposite side. And again, I'm just using my hands because by using my hands, get a really tight lock to that bead. Bring that across so it's almost like a triangle. And then pliers in and bending it up. I'll do this again in a minute, don't worry. There we are. And then we just want to form that loop. So this is, again, I'm just going to take that literally like 1 millimeter off. And I want to make sure I roll backwards because that's the direction of this one. So what I can do is I could actually push with my pliers, my chain nose pliers, that to sort of already go in the right direction, so towards me, and then I can roll it backwards. The difference with doing it this way, I find, is it's a bit trickier to get that exact balance, but also I find it's just because I've got that loop there, I kind of have to work around that, so it makes it a little bit more, it really is pros and cons. they're both ways of working. It's just I like to show both ways. Pop my pliers in. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. I apologise. I do apologise. Got caught by a sneeze. And then just straightening them up. Bring them together. I don't know which way suits, to be honest. I think I find the other way a bit easier because you're able to get that balance because you can centralize the bead and then bring them both up. Thank you, Camille. So again, it really is whichever way kind of suits, but I do like to give options, as we know. I think I find the other way a bit more straightforward and a little bit more consistent, but it really is each to their own. So there's one. I'm just straightening that out a little bit. See, I'm just having to sort of tweak this one a little bit more, but everybody works a bit differently. So let's do the same again on this one. So, and again, the other issue I find with this is the consistency of making sure I get that gap, that same sort of height to match, of course, this one. So I now need to make sure that that's going to be the same height. Should be about right. And then the same on here. Just bring that all the way across. Bring it just when I want to come out and back. And then snip the tiniest bit if you need to. And then roll that around. And that one went a lot easier. So it really is kind of like, but I feel like that might be a bit shorter. Let's have a look. That's about right. So again, it's just however it kind of suits you. If you want it to not have that gap, there's a little gap there. You just really kind of need to come in and really kind of pinch below those loops to get that to kind of close. I think you always have that very slight opening, but you can kind of close it a bit. And then again, exactly the same way, you can just add this directly on. Now, if you wanted to add this onto a chain, I'm just going to grab a necklace here, but if you wanted to have that on as a chain, you could just drop it straight on and actually have that as a set in that way instead. So I'm going to talk about the chains in a moment, but we have that one there. And again, how quick and easy are these to make? I think they're great fun. I always say this, but have a selection of these, sit at a stall, let people choose the colors they want, let them choose their earrings. You might get someone come across and go, oh, I want a pink and a gold one, let them make their own bespoke jewellery. And there you have that colorway there as well. And so the technique is slightly different, but the end result is the same. Okay, so it's just however you kind of want to do that. So we have those. And I just want to talk about the necklace. So the necklace, we have got, where's my chain? Where is my chain? Had all my stuff together. Aha, in the bag. So with the chain, we have, you get 1 meter of the chain. And again, you don't have to. I am a massive fan. Well, I have to show you this actually. Oh, I do get sidetracked, but you could actually have these hanging off of a chain, a drop of a section of chain, or you could also have it where you actually have chain either side as an earring. That looks really lovely. So again, options. But what I really love as that chain style is to have that bead in the middle, as I have shown on here. We just have it set in the middle. Again, a very simple classic design, but I really love that. I find it really wearable, and as you said, really versatile. You've got that lovely little black dress on for your Christmas party. It's just that little drop of sparkle. I think it's subtle but statement. So with regards to your chain, you know, measure this however long you want this to be. I would say maybe go for like a 16-inch and then cut that in the middle. People can have it shorter if they want to, depends obviously on what size they like to wear and how comfortable they are. So if you've got it as a 16-inch, you can then cut that in the middle. And I'm then going to keep that chain continuous for the moment. I'm going to take another head pin. And this time it's just a little bit different. So again, it doesn't really matter. You're not finding a buddy. This is your third one. So this, if you know, if you're buying it in your drops of freeze, there we are, matching one there. And I'm going to just pop this through. And I want that loop to go right up nice and snug. Okay. And again, I'm looking at the direction of that loop to make sure that I'm matching that. So I'm going to push this wire down. I'm doing that so that it locks into place. And I'm using my hand just because I get that real nice close snugness to the bead as well. And now this, I do need to cut. So I'm going to cut this about 1 centimetre. Again, I go by eye. You can measure if you want to. Around those pliers. Pop your pliers in and roll this up. And I kind of like to try to get those loops then to curve up. So instead of going straight, I want it to kind of curve up so that when they're added to the bead, to the chain, it's a bit of shape to them. There we go. So we've got them there. That's simple. That's quick and easy. And then simply open out your loop like a jump ring. So open it out to the side. Take the end of your chain, pop it on, and then close. Make sure you do close it nice and as best as you can because you don't want that to come undone. Other side, open, drop on that last link, and close. And there is your necklace. It really is that quick and easy. But obviously we need to be able to put this on. So we've connected it here. So I find personally the easiest way is I will then take that and kind of hold it in my hand, and you'll see, you'll normally find like a little, there's your center. Come in with your pliers and cut. Then we just go in with our 5mm jump rings and one of our 6mm. You might need your glasses on for this, but it does go through. Oh, look at that. Straight through. And then you would add on your toggle clasp. Now, the ones I collected initially were too small. So we have got, you will have the 12mm toggle clasps, which go on these jump rings. Absolutely fine. I just don't have mine with me because I accidentally collected. Oh, hang on. Hold up. Ignore that. So you will have the 12mm toggle clasp, and they go on these jump rings just perfect. Oh, and that's what happens when you don't do your jump ring up properly. See that little gap? Because I didn't do my jump ring up properly. So it's very important you do close that jump ring properly. So popping that on. Pop on your toggle clasp. Oops. Of course, you could even add on to this you could even add on like a little extender if you wanted to, and then people could make it adjustable so that it sits up, you know, closer to up, shorter for one look or a bit longer for another. Okay, so that's been added. And then I'm going to take my, now you can either use another 5mm and then connect your 6, or you can just go straight in with your 6. It's up to you. I quite like to have the 5 and then the 6, but it really is your choice. Come on for me, please. There we go. And then taking that 6mm, pop that on. Make sure you close it properly. And then make sure this one's closed properly as well. There you have your finish of your bead. Your nice clasp to finish your necklace. So there's your necklace and your pair of earrings to go with it. And there's another set for you ready to go. And as I said, if you decided, I think I've got one more little length of chain left in that bag. Let's just do one more for fun. And then if we could just, I'm not going to put the clasp onto that, but we could pretend it's on there. And what we could do is just have a pre-made chain. So make your chain up ready. I'm just connecting this for now. You could obviously put your clasp, etc. on it. Onto here and close. And if you didn't want to have that drop in the middle like this, you could of course just come in. Let's find a pretty bead. You're pretty. They're all pretty, but that one just jumped out as a bit prettier. It's very, I just think it's very simple and classic. Sheila, it's just pretty, isn't it? And I think, oh, actually I might go for you. You're pretty and reversible. So if you've got one like this, I'm just going to come in. So remembering to come down like so. Again, I know it's quite a nice simple technique. I think it's great for people that want to sort of get comfortable and familiar with jewelry making, but even if you are an established jewelry maker, as many of us are, many of you are, it's still nice to have something a bit more simple and classic available, because not everybody, people sometimes just want simple and fun. So taking this, I'm going to just find that middle, bring that up, fold it in, give it a pinch, then we can just pop on that extra. So we've got and I thought it would be nice to do, like I said, instead of doing your classic briolet wrapping, which I absolutely adore, don't get me wrong, one of my staples, I think it's sometimes nice, if you are a bit sort of worried about or new to wire work, to have a different way of approaching it. So there we have that one. I'm going to finish and attach this to the chain with a 5mm. So I've added a 6mm through my bead, and then I would add this onto my chain. This is my last alternative for you. So if you didn't want to have that sort of drop in the middle, how gorgeous is that as an alternative way of a necklace? And you could even then have this just on that long style drop. I'm going to say you could put a Mobius there, you could put a bead there, you could do so much, but I just think gorgeous, classic, easy jewellery. So yeah, simple and easy, but again, I just think it's a really great way of experimenting. I'm going to take you back over to the website super quickly just to refresh and remind you of what we can, what we have and how we can get our hands on these lovely kits. So as always, totallybeads.co.uk, over to the video tutorials, Hematite Drop jewellery set, there's your video. Here are your amazing colorways. So you've got that gorgeous blue, bronze, champagne, coffee. Then you've got gold, green gold, mermaid pink, purple, purple green, rainbow, and silver. There are 12 different colorways there. I've got an example of all of those colors for you, and hopefully you can see how you can put those into something a bit different. They are currently with 20% off, so then instead of 79p per piece, they are now 63p. You could buy mix and match. Do recommend in buying 3 per kit. It's up to you. But gorgeous colorways. And then, of course, you have the sort of find in section to go with this, which is in gold and in silver. You do need to add 3 drops to be able to create this jewellery set. You get your chain, your eye pin, your lobster clasp, your jump rings, and your earring hook. So you can see the different colorways there again. And that is for $1.99. And then, of course, you also have the lovely silver version, which you have exactly the same, but just in the silver colorway. So that is your beautiful, and don't forget you're getting the hematite, gorgeous gemstone, and it's got that lovely statement look, highly polished, really gorgeous gemstones to work with. So I hope, have a little look, let me know how you get on, have a look and exploring those more simple techniques. And yeah, so Joan, the hematite colors are gorgeous. Yep, indeed they are. So I'm going to let you get on with the rest of your day now, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this technique and this project. As I said, as always, if you do have a go at making it, please tag me. I love to see what everybody gets up to. I'm not going to be with you now until the beginning of September. I have a gorgeous, some chunky turquoise howlite in a lovely statement necklace piece coming up. I'm really excited for that piece. In fact, I might get working on that in a moment. So I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. In the in-between, you're going to have the lovely Natalie, as always, on Monday and Wednesdays, and you've got the lovely Kitty with you for the next 2 Fridays. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, everybody, and a lovely weekend, and I will see you all very